Clickbait title. This is my new favorite thing. Hello everyone, and welcome to the Week I Review. My name is kubas-meyer, and today I want to talk about an app-based transportation share service, Scoot. After my stint in LA, I went up to the Bay Area for a bit. I went hiking and fly fishing, happened upon a town's annual Carnitas Festival, which felt like something you'd see in a horror movie as a remnant of a ghost town that was abandoned decades ago, but the protagonist, i.e. me, experiences anyway, and I didn't have my camera, so literally cannot prove its existence. Saw multiple people receiving fellatio on the street at a big ol' street fair, and just generally had a fascinating trip. I spent 2 days hanging out in San Francisco proper, and while I had assumed that that would involve a lot of walking, my friend and tour guide told me that no, the only way to see San Francisco nowadays is via Scoot. Not living in a tech hub where literally every other billboard is for some kind of app or cloud-based service, I'd never heard of it. But as it turns out, Scoot is a pretty widespread electric scooter sharing service in the area with a name that makes you feel dumb every time you say it. Scoot. Ugh. I mean, it's certainly more descriptive than what would ostensibly be its competitors, Lime and Bird, but Scoots aren't those stand-up baby scooters for children, which San Francisco also has. These are proper sit-down mopeds, like the kind that I used to make fun of as a kid. Well, who's laughing now? Probably you, but ultimately me, because the 6 hours and 38 minutes I was on a Scoot over 51 miles across 7 trips were the most fun I have had on the road in years. This is how it works. Get it? And while I talk about things for a little bit, here's a SuperSpeed version of the trip that I took after shooting that dumb little bit of B-roll. I don't like cars. I don't like driving them. I don't like being driven in them. I do both of those things when necessary, but it's never my preferred method of transport. This is one of the reasons that I feel like I have to stay in New York, and also why I wasn't really a big fan of LA. I walked a couple of dozen miles over my time there and barely saw anything. San Francisco is much more compact, which makes it more conducive to walking. But it's also very hilly, which some people are fine with and some people are not. When you only have a couple of days, though, trudging up and down hills all the time isn't ideal. There are a number of options. There are, of course, the standing scooters, though there aren't that many left in the area, and half of the ones I did see had been destroyed. There are bikes, including Ford Go bikes, which are exactly the same as New York City bikes, except sponsored by a different company, and my City Bike dongle didn't work. And jump bikes, which are dockless bikes with electric pedal assist. I imagine the latter would be fine on hills, and know from experience that inclines on those Go bikes wouldn't be great, unless you have, like, rock-hard legs, which I very much do not. Unlike the others, Scoot qualifies as an actual motor vehicle that must be driven amidst car traffic and not in the bike lane. You need a valid US license to sign up. You do not, however, need any kind of training, which is good because I have none. I do ride bikes reasonably often and in New York traffic though, so I wasn't all that concerned, nor should I have been. Turns, especially tighter ones, take a bit of getting used to, but after an hour or two, I'd gotten into the flow of it all. That said, a downside I hadn't considered before using the Scoot as a tourist assistance device was that during this acclimation period, I would be almost completely focused on not dying and barely at all on the sights around me. Over time, this got better, especially on straightaways, but that initial learning period meant that I saw less of the city than I might otherwise have, and certainly less than I would have liked. I ultimately went back through many of those areas that I had missed the first time around, but that deprived me of the chance to see more new things in that time. But what matters is that the experience itself of riding the Scoot was exhilarating as heck. I'm not gonna lie, I've never thought of riding an electric scooter as a visceral experience,
but that's honestly what it is. You feel the wind and it's whipping at you, especially when you're going at full speed and it's fairly windy in San Francisco. You feel it on your skin, you feel it in your bones, you feel it just in your heart.
Scoots are electric, and they have to be plugged in every 20 miles or so. You will find them either on the street, just parked like a motorcycle, or in garages lined up and plugged in. The app tells you where they are and how much charge they have. It also tells you where you can park them and where charging lots exist. I was only able to properly locate 2 of the 5 charging stations that I was looking for. The others located in the app weren't labeled anywhere in the real world that I could see, which was frustrating. Eventually, I was able to park them on the street, albeit awkwardly. I looked super dumb trying to put these things on the center stand at least 70% of the time. The times I did it fine, I don't know what I did differently. The important thing is that I didn't get towed or fined for my incompetence. I loved using the Scoot, but the elephant in the room is that according to their app, the closest scooter is literally a 56,000 minute walk away. So is it fair to judge the service on the fact that I can't use it in my actual daily life? Yes and no. Yes, because this is my internet video series and I can do literally anything I want. Hashtag not spawn, hashtag tour cannot be bought. But also no, because that would be ridiculous. What's more, I don't think Scoot-like services are as useful in a city as flat as New York. There is one, Revel, that has a few dozen mopeds in a small section of Brooklyn, but though I see more utility there than in, say, Manhattan, you're still dealing with being in the street with terrible New York drivers. San Francisco drivers, at least last Sunday and Monday, were basically a non-issue. I never felt like someone was going to sideswipe/murder me in the way I often do in New York traffic and always did in LA. Scoot-likes exist in a handful of cities, Atlanta, Pittsburgh, etc., but their expansion is inevitably limited by factors mostly resulting in decades or centuries of urban design choices. Hilly, reasonably dense cities with drivers who aren't on a mission from God, that's where this sort of thing will thrive. 9.1 out of 10. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did not, I'm sorry. I hope to see you next week.